To say that the last Kong x Godzilla trailer was jam-packed would definitely be an understatement. Not only did it introduce us to brand new threats and ecosystems in the Monsterverse, but it also shined some much-needed light onto the titans that inhabit this world. While the world eagerly awaits the introduction of brand new titans, like the Scar King and Shimo, there are also a bunch of known monsters that deserve our attention. Keen-eyed viewers must have undoubtedly spotted a particularly terrifying cephalopod among the mix. And well, that's who we're here to talk about today. Hello, Marvelous viewers, and welcome to another Marvelous video. This time, we're going to talk about Scylla, the terrifying squid-like titan, whose appearance has been confirmed in the recent Legendary Pictures production. Unlike Godzilla and Kong, Scylla has been pretty much a background player in the Monsterverse until now, but all of that stands to change as we move closer to the latest installment in the blockbuster franchise. However, before we move on to the details, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. This might be a small click for you, but to us, it means an awful lot. Now without further ado, let us dive right in! Tracing the origins of Scylla. In the 2019 film Godzilla King of the Monsters, the former Alpha Titan Ghidorah sends out a call to the other monsters. This is the first time we catch a glimpse of the true scale of the Monsterverse, and to be honest, it's quite terrifying. This is also where we first see Scylla, the giant armored cephalopod, make its first appearance. Scylla is an original titan created for the Monsterverse, which means that it had not appeared in any other pre-existing media. Director Michael Dougherty, director of 3 Monsterverse projects, had stated that the creation of these original monsters not only helped the production save millions of dollars by negating the need to license monsters from Toho, but also allowed them to bring their own vision to the iconic monsters. This is pretty evident from a single glance at the topic of our discussion today. Dougherty stated that the creation of Scylla was a consequence of his fascination with the Lovecraftian monster Cthulhu. It's pretty evident from Scylla's design that Cthulhu bore a significant influence on the monster's creation, which can be seen in the humongous tentacles dangling beneath the character's beady yellow eyes. The name Scylla is derived from a sea monster from Greek mythology, said to be the daughter of Typhoon. Monarch itself has confirmed that Titaness Scylla was first named by the ancient Greeks, who came across the monster and deemed it to be a female sea monster. As you might have guessed, the monster from the myth does seem to bear some uncanny resemblance to the one shown in the movies. Scylla from the Monsterverse seems to be a peculiar cross between an arachnid and a cephalopod, a giant freak of nature that stands about 350 feet tall. As if being a giant armored spider wasn't enough, Scylla also possesses 10 prehensile squid tentacles protruding from its armored face. These appendages can be used to grab prey from underneath, while the titan hovers over it. In addition to these tentacles, each of Scylla's 6 legs is a weapon in its own right, and boasts fatal claws, which themselves are covered in small spikes. It also seems that Scylla's physiology allows it to completely defend itself against all enemy attack, as most of its abdomen is covered by a massive ammonite shell. Scylla has been classified as a destroyer-class titan by Monarch. It is essentially a scavenger, and is drawn towards a source of radiation that can serve as its fodder. When we first encountered Scylla in the 3rd installment of the Monsterverse, Godzilla King of Monsters, where it emerged by tearing through the oil rigs of Sedona, Arizona. The Titans are being monitored by Monarch when the giant wakes up to Ghidorah's call. Instantaneously destroying the rig it was trapped under, Scylla joins a host of other monsters who start making their way toward the Alpha. Along the way, Scylla also partly destroys the city of Phoenix, and engages in a slight altercation with fellow Titan Baphomet. However, before Scylla can join Ghidorah, Godzilla defeats the behemoth and takes his throne. In one of the final scenes of that movie, Scylla can be seen bowing to the newly crowned King of Monsters. In the investigation following Ghidorah's attack, we discovered through news reports that Scylla is indeed of Greek origin. Moreover, Scylla's presence is said to be having a very positive effect on the environment, as the Titan emits large quantities of liquid nitrogen, enough to halt the melting ice caps in Antarctica. It's safe to say that in the context of the Monsterverse, Scylla has become one of the more well-known monsters among the human population. This can be gauged from the fact that inside the fictional universe, Scylla is said to be the most trending hashtag of all the monsters revealed by Monarch to the general population. The lethal power of Scylla, exploring powers and abilities. Needless to say, Scylla, like other titans, is a marvel of nature. Its gargantuan stature and Lovecraftian appearance already make the monster a terror to behold. Still, it is the firepower in the Titan's arsenal that makes it a genuine threat to all of humanity. Let's go through all the various abilities the monster has at its disposal to hunt down its prey. Number 1. Bacteria generation. Scylla is deemed to be a biocorrosive creature by Monarch. This allows Scylla to convert the nutrients it consumes into to a deadly waterborne virus. Number 2. Shell. Syla's shell is impervious to damage from most forms of attack. The Titan has shown enough durability to topple buildings and withstand warheads without even a scratch. Additionally, the cephalopod can also escape from the exoskeleton at will, a trick it uses when it is truly cornered by an enemy. Though the shell can take some time to grow back, Syla can still manage to defend itself by burrowing into a rock face or using debris in its vicinity to fashion a shield. Number 3. Tentacles. As mentioned before, the tentacles emerging from Syla's face are one of the monster's most distinctive features. Each of these 10 appendages is capable of moving independently and is also equipped with massive suckers, akin to an octopus. The force with which Syla launches these tentacles toward its enemy is enough to stumble Godzilla himself. Number 4. Temperature manipulation. The massive quantities of liquid nitrogen generated from the creature's body is literally enough to keep the ice caps from melting. Imagine being so cool that your existence is literally touted as a viable solution for climate change. Number 5. Strength and combat. Syla can utilize her gargantuan stature to deal considerable damage with just normal physical blows. Combine these with the claw at the end of each leg, and you have a monster capable of going toe-to-toe with Godzilla himself. Number 6. Amphibiousness. Like Godzilla, Syla is also an amphibious titan, allowing it to propagate through land and water at terrifying speeds. The speed with which Syla can swim through the water is assumed to be even faster than Godzilla. Comparative might. Where Syla stands among the legendary titans. With such an impressive arsenal of powers and abilities at its disposal, it's natural to wonder where the giant cephalopod stands among the rest of the monsters inhabiting the world. It's pretty likely that as the monsterverse progresses, we will see more face-offs between the titans inhabiting this world. Thus, it only makes sense to pit the cephalopod against the titular faces of the series, Kong and Godzilla, in order to see how the monster would fare in these confrontations. After all, nobody likes to bet on the losing pony. Let's begin with Kong, humanity's favorite giant ape. In terms of size, Kong and Syla are pretty head-to-head, with both standing around 350 feet tall, though Kong does have an advantage over Syla in terms of intelligence and combat ability. Syla's tentacles are bound to give the ape a hard time. Moreover, being a cephalopod, Syla would have a massive advantage if this fight were to take place in the vicinity of a water body. Though Kong shouldn't be able to penetrate Syla's armor with its bare hands, Titanus Kong has already shown us that he has a propensity for using weapons in battle, and this could actually be the factor that swings the battle in the ape's favor. However, there's one trick up Syla's tentacled sleeve that would be highly effective against Kong. Remember how Kong almost froze during the events of Godzilla vs. Kong? This makes it evident that the gargantuan ape doesn't really do well against sub-zero temperatures. Well, Syla emits enough liquid nitrogen on a daily basis to stabilize polar caps. This could undoubtedly be the weapon that Syla requires to get rid of Kong. However, we have not seen these emissions in movies yet, and it's still doubtful whether they could be used to attack an enemy. To be honest, this could end up being a pretty even fight, especially if it were to take place on the edge of the water. However, Kong could certainly overwhelm Syla in close combat, especially if he's wielding his handy dorsal fin axe. Now let's move on to the undisputed king of the titans, Godzilla. Standing at around 582 feet, the gigantic nuclear reptile clearly dwarfs Syla when standing next to each other. Godzilla is also more equipped with weapons than your average warship. Boasting terrifying strength, Godzilla has repeatedly destroyed entire cities, just by merely walking through them. In addition to its physical attacks, Godzilla can also call upon its bioatomic defenses when in a really tight spot. We've seen that the reptilian's atomic breath can help him stand his ground against multiple MUTOs in the heat of battle. Under the right circumstances, Godzilla can also utilize thermonuclear pulses that are powerful enough to incinerate entire cities in their path. As seen in Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla used this technique after absorbing the energy from an atomic bomb and the life force in Mothra. Godzilla is also a far more resilient creature than Kong, and is capable of easily surviving in extreme temperatures. It is pretty certain that if Godzilla and Syla face off, the cephalopod would likely be the one incurring the most damage. However, a battle between the two seems far-fetched, as Syla has already accepted Godzilla as its alpha after Ghidorah's demise. Mind-blowing appearances of Syla in other forms of media. Since its initial appearance in The King of the Monsters, Syla has piqued the interest of us Monsterverse fans. Owing to the possibilities such original titans opened up for the world, it was definitely just a matter of time before we encountered the hulking cephalopod in other media. Just as expected, we were soon offered a glimpse of Syla in Godzilla Dominion, the follow-up graphic novel that picks up right after the events of Godzilla King of Monsters. In this story, a starving Syla emerges in the ocean near Savannah, Georgia, to feed off a nuclear bomb. The Titan is soon discovered by Godzilla, and the two face off against each other. Scylla finds itself overpowered by the reptilian giant, and soon recedes into the cold waters to make its escape. The monster was also present in an official movie novelization of King of Monsters. Scylla has also made a non-canon appearance in the DC comic Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong. Here we see the familiar heroes Supergirl, Flash, and Green Lantern combine their forces to drive the creature back into the ocean. In an issue following this incident, Cyborg informs the Justice League that Scylla has gone entirely off the grid and is expected to be submerged deep under the water of the Atlantic Ocean. It's clear from Scylla's growing popularity that the monster is here to stay and will definitely find its place in different forms of media as the franchise grows. Marvelous verdict. In conclusion, we'd like to remind our viewers that Scylla is one of the most intriguing creatures that have made it to the screen in the Monsterverse. Though we've only gotten sporadic glimpses of the creature as yet, it has been enough to generate interest in audiences about the humongous cephalopod. However, the Titan's real plans still remain a mystery that will hopefully be uncovered when the creature finally makes a new appearance in Godzilla x Kong. Until then, all we can do is wait for the terrifying call to reach us one more time. That's it for today, but do tell us if we missed out on any important facts in the comments below. Please subscribe to our channel for more Monsterverse updates. So goodbye for now, and we'll see you next time with another marvelous video.